So today we're going to learn all about the anatomy, because one of the best places to improve your sexual health, your sexual pleasure, is anatomy. Understanding how your body works, understanding how another person's body works, and seeing how it all comes together. When we know our bodies, we have the opportunity to engage with our bodies differently. In order to teach all about anatomy in a safe and accessible way, as a sex educator and sex therapist, I love to use tools so that you can really see what's going on. So the first one we're going to start with is the vulva. And I have Eloise, who is one of my favorite teaching aids because you can really see what's going on. In its entirety, this is the vulva. A lot of people haven't heard the term vulva. It's not a word that many people grew up with. They use the term vagina. And while the vaginal opening is a part of the vulva is the external parts or the external genitals that we can see on a body. And everything that is contained on the outside is known as the vulva. And you have different parts within the vulva that make up the vulva. If I am to squeeze this down, you get to see a bit more of how the vulva is actually comprised. So right here, you have the labia majora, or the big lips, as a lot of people reference it. And then you go in and you would have what's known as the labia minora, or the littler lips. If we go to the top of the vulva, that's where we're going to have the clitoral complex, or the clitoris. You'll notice that the clitoris, much like an uncircumcised penis, has a clitoral hood that protects the clitoris because it's so sensitive. Fun fact, that the clitoral complex has twice the amount of nerve endings as a penis. The clitoris has 8,000 nerve endings, whereas the penis has 4,000 nerve endings. That is a lot of nerve endings, which is why it's known as the pleasure center and why there can be a lot of sensitivity. So you saw the clitoris, and you saw that typically what we see or what we think of as the clitoris is just the tip part. But I've brought Dolores the clitoris. But this lets you see actually what the clitoris is. It is a lot more vast and bigger than what we think of as just the clitoris. And I want to show you how it actually fits and is placed within the vulva. You saw the tip or the head of the clitoris. Similarly, this is what we're seeing, is we're seeing the tip right here. Where the clitoris really is you're going to see it sits in here, and if these were more scaled in size, the different parts of the clitoral complex are going to go down the parts of the vulva and the labia majora, creating a lot of pleasure, not just right here, but in the entire vulva area. We know that the clitoris is at the top of the vulva, and as we move down at the base of the labia minora, you're going to find the vaginal opening. And the vaginal opening is just right at the base of the vulva. And as we go down to the base of the vaginal opening, you're going to see this skin in between the base of the vaginal opening and the anus. That is known as the perineum. There is a lot of pleasure for some people that they can experience with the perineum, depending on how it's touched. And then you have the anus. So that is the vulva. All right, next up is the penis. And when it comes to the penis, you might be thinking, how much is there to actually know about the penis? And much like the vulva or the clitoris, there's actually quite a bit to know about the penis. So we're going to start off that this is a circumcised penis, and this is Peter. I failed to formally introduce Peter. But let me start off by saying this is a circumcised penis. You are going to have other penises, especially when we look at anatomy around the world, where they're not circumcised. If this were an uncircumcised penis, the skin would come up and over, covering the head or the glands of the penis. When the penis is not erect and it's in an uncircumcised penis, that skin will remain covered. Once the penis gets erect, that skin's going to pull back and you will see the head or the glands of the penis. When we look at the penis, and we're going to look at it in this way, the top part here at the head of the glands is you have the corona. This spot right here can be very, very sensitive and bring a lot of pleasure. And if we look underneath the penis where things come together right here, this is the frenulum, or known as the V spot. Another place where there can be a lot of sensitivity and pleasure. And then you come down and this is known as the shaft. And again, oftentimes we really underestimate the penis, thinking it's just one thing and it all experiences pleasure in the same way. However, all of these spots produce different sensations and have different sensitivities. And if we were to go down, just like in the vulva, you're going to see that below, or the base of the testicles, you're going to have skin or tissue that then, to where the anus goes, that is the perineum. And that can be very, very sensitive for male-bodied people, because then you have access, and that's where you would have the prostate gland. You can access that through the perineum. So that can be another place of sensitivity. This is just a brief introduction going over the basics of anatomy. To get more information, more education, follow me on Instagram or go to my resources on KristenBHodson.com.